Caitlin Clark was supposed to be the indestructible force that redefined the WNBA. At Iowa, she was an iron woman, never missing a single game in 4 years. Her rookie season, same story. But her second year with the Indiana Fever isn't just a season, it's a battle for survival. And the dream is rapidly turning into a nightmare. And while the world sees the physical toll, the real story, the one happening behind the scenes, seems to be the one of escalating frustration and what it looks like a serious breakdown of trust. And this isn't just about injuries anymore. This is about generational talent who, according to Insider, whispers is so concerned with how her career is being handled that she's taking matters into her own hands. And this is a story of how things started to fall apart. So the difference between Caitlin Clark, the college legend, and Caitlin Clark, the second year pro, is staggering. In her entire um, college and rookie year, she was invincible. This season, however, has been a brutal reality check. Her body is breaking down in ways we never seen before. And it started with a left quad strain that put her on the bench, then a left groin strain that cost her more time, and most recently a right groin injury on a seemingly meaningless play that forced her out of the All-Star game in her own home city. In total, she has already missed more than 10 regular season games, 11 due because she'll be out today's game of this video recording. But due to three separate muscle injuries for a player who thrives on rhythm, this constant stop and start season is devastating, and the emotional toll is becoming impossible to ignore. And we'll get into the article in a minute because Caitlin Clark has obviously voiced her take on her injuries. And after her latest injury, cameras caught her walking to the basket stanchion, banging her head against the padding and covering her face with a towel, visibly fighting back tears. And she later opened up about the mental burden, admitting how challenging the cycle of injuries has been. And this is the first time I haven't felt like a young body that can run around and sprint every day just to continue to do that, Clark has said. And she confessed that as a pro, you have to take care of both body and mind. And it's been a journey learning that. And this isn't just physical pain, it's the anguish of a competitor being kept from the one thing she loves. But the injuries might just be a symptom of a much deeper problem brewing with the Indiana Fever organization. So as you see, this GQ Sports article has been posted of July 23rd, 2025. As a pro athlete, Caitlin Clark has some access to most of the innovative wellness treatments of red light therapy, dry needling, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, which she's currently using as she recovers from the groin injury that kept her from competing in Friday's 3-point contest and Saturday's All Star game during the WNBA All Star weekend. But her favorite tactics for staying mentally and physically on point are the most basic and the most accessible. And this is Caitlin Clark saying, I've obviously done everything under the sun, but for me, there's no better rest and recovery than just straight up sleeping. She told Glamour Global editorial director Samantha Barry in Annapolis on Saturday. When she's not sleeping, Caitlin said one of her favorite ways to de-stress and decompress is rewatching Disney movies. The other day, I watched The Parent Trap, which literally never gets old, even though I know every single word in it. She said things she doesn't do, pump herself up pre-game using tense music. She prefers silence or calming songs, or lose herself in Love Island. And she said, I watched the first episode but couldn't get into it, but maybe it was too cringe for me, and it takes a lot of time. There's a new episode like every single day. I just couldn't do it. And these were a few of the personal insights Clark shared during the All Star Weekend event. Glamour co-host with Ely Lilly and company, the Indiana-based company that sponsors Clark's WNBA team, the Indiana Fever. Clark is also Lilly Ambassador, a celebration of women's sports, health, and community. The event centered around one key statistic from the American Cancer Society. There's a 5 year relative survival rate up to 99% when breast cancer is detected early and hasn't spread beyond the breast. Lilly memorably broadcast this stat at the first Women's College All Star Combine during the NCAA Women's Final Four tournament in April, where it outfitted all 30 WNBA draft prospects in matching 99 jerseys. Right. So then when you scroll down, Um, Hosting this event during the WNBA All-Star Weekend was about more than a celebration. It was a statement. Barry said, athletes like Caitlin Clark are redefining what strength, focus, and resilience look like. And Clark opened up about how she her prioritizes both her physical and mental health while navigating a high pressure profession in the public eye. And this is Clark words. Obviously, I love playing basketball, but it can be stressful having so many eyes on you all the time. And during the season, you're just going game to game, she said. That's why she makes sure to enjoy some of the restorative downtime with her teammates during their travels, even if that's just going on an evening walk or finding a restaurant to try. Her other favorite way to unwind when she has time playing golf, which she's eager to get back to post injuries. And this is the first time I haven't felt like a young body that can run around and sprint every day and just to continue to do that. She said, being a professional athlete, you really have to take care of both your body and your mind. And it's been a journey learning about that. And that's included regularly opening up to a professional about how she's feeling. We have a sports psychologist on our staff who I sometimes meet with multiple times a week to not only talk basketball but other things in life. And that's something that's been important to me over the course of my career, she says. I don't talk about things that stress me out, but also the joys in my life. And that's always a good reminder and reset for me. And she's also grown to understand the importance of turning to family, friends, her coach, and her teammates for support. And when you have an athlete or a role model you look up to, it's easy to see them as always happy and living a glamorous life. But it's not always like that, she said. We go through difficult things too, and being able to lean on people and tell them your frustrations or that you're not okay is really important. Another mental health outlet, Clark has a long time pregame ritual of journaling. It makes me really intentional about what I want to accomplish and is a good reset if I'm feeling nervous or anxious about the game to kind of wipe that away, she said. And there you have it, folks. So the physical hits are what everyone sees, but the whispers behind the scenes point to a different kind of issue. Analysts have started to question the system Clark is in. There has been growing criticism aimed at the Fever's coaching staff, led by head coach Stephanie White, particularly about how Clark's playing time and offensive rhythm are being managed. For a shooter like Clark, flow is everything. Yet there's a sense that the coaching staff's rotations and strategies aren't fully leveraging her historic talent and creating a frustrating dynamic for a player known for her high basketball IQ. And Clark herself has suddenly hidden at this, stressing how it is important for shooters to stay on the floor to find their groove. And when you have a weapon like Caitlin Clark, you don't fit her into a system. You build the system around her. And that's what I come to learn with Caitlin Clark. And the question that analysis and fans are asking is, and I've been asking, just watching our game and everything, does the Fever organization truly understand the generational talent they have? And the constant grind of the WNBA schedule is tough enough. But when you combine that with a system that might not be playing to your strengths, it creates a pressure cooker. And the on-court frustration is obvious, but it's what's happening off the court that's raising eyebrows and apparently leading to a massive game changing decision. And this is the part of the story the Fever front office probably hopes you never hear. When a star's body is their most valuable asset, the medical staff is the most trusted defense. So, what happens when that trust disappears? Following her latest groin injury, Coach Stephanie White gave a vague update saying Clark would see some doctors and get some more tests run. But it was the careful, non Pacific language that fueled speculation that Clark is seeking outside medical opinions, and reports and insider talk suggest that she and her camp are looking for top tier specialists to get to the bottom of these recurrent injuries. And let's be clear, this isn't a normal step for a player to take. It's a massive red flag, and it signals a potential loss of faith in the very people tasked with keeping her healthy. Because don't you think they will bring the specialist to the Indiana Fever organization and make sure that they have everything hands on deck? Why is your valuable asset looking at outside sources for themselves? Because obviously you're not doing a good enough job. And then you don't go looking for your own doctors unless you're questioning the care you are getting. After the team gave vague day-to-day timelines that stretched into a multi-week absences, some skepticism is understandable. And for an athlete like Clark, whose legacy is on the line, trusting the process is everything. And the speculation now is that her trust in the Fever's process may be shattered. And if she is indeed taking control of her own health, it it's a move that speaks volumes about the internal turmoil in Indiana. And this isn't just about a second opinion. It could be seen as a vote of no confidence. And this also reminds me of, I always call Caitlin Clark the female Steph Curry, but she also reminds me of Larry Bird. Now, she may be not as tall as Larry Bird. She may be faster as Larry Bird, the living legend that played in the NBA, playing for the Boston Celtics, and the legend and Hall of Famer, but he had to his time and his lifespan in the NBA was so short due to the injuries he pushed through, even though he had multiple championships. And I don't want that for Caitlin Clark, pushing her body to the furthest extent, to the simple fact that she can't even trust the franchise doctors and medical staff around her that she's looking for her on her own, right? And why wouldn't that raise eyebrows, right? And this is a critical moment in her career. The pressure, the physical punishment, and now the potential rift with her own team. And if you think Caitlin Clark is right to take control of her own health, hit that like button and show your support. And what makes this so tragic is that even in this broken down, chaotic season, Caitlin Clark has shown flashes of her otherworldly talent. Her resilience is just a breathtaking as her logo threes and her very first game back after an earlier injury. She didn't just play, she dominated, man. She dropped 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds in a stunning performance. And it was a statement game, a reminder to the entire league of who she is. And that's the player who is currently being held together by tape and sheer force of will. Even with all the missed time, her stats are still elite. She's averaging around 16.5 points, a staggering 8.8 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. And those aren't the numbers of someone in a slump. Those are superstar numbers produced through unimaginable adversity. And she even served as a team captain and coach during the All-Star game she was forced to sit out, and showing leadership in her humor despite her personal disappointment. This brilliance makes the chaos surrounding her even more frustrating, and we are being robbed of watching a legend at her peak, not because of a lack of talent, but possibly because of a body and a system that are failing her. And I did a video on that, and I want you guys to go check it out, about Kelsey Mitchell's sister, Chelsea Mitchell, talking about how Kelsey Mitchell always been the franchise of the team, and without Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, um, and without Kelsey Mitchell, just period, she's always been the star of the franchise, and Caitlin Clark wouldn't be nothing without Kelsey Mitchell, and wouldn't be able to run on her own without Kelsey Mitchell. Well, like I just said, the stats: 16.5 points, 8.8 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. And she's injured and still pushing through this with resilience. And what? Kelsey Mitchell making 19.2 points a game. She making a decent amount of points, and Caitlin Clark is just injured and pushing through this adversity. And she's still putting up numbers close to Kelsey Mitchell. So who is the engine of who? Obviously, Caitlin Clark is the engine of the franchise, but go check out that video. I don't want to get off topic, but Caitlin Clark is at a dangerous crossroads. A player once defined by her durability is now being defined by her injury report. And the physical toll is undeniable, but the mental fatigue and the apparent collapse of trust with the Indiana Fever are the real story. She is fighting a war on multiple fronts against her own body, against the punishing physicality of the league, and now it seems against the very infrastructure meant to support her, not alone, not to add into the refs. Don't even talk about the refs, man. Horrible. Trash. Trash. And this has become more than just a tough season. It's a crisis. And she's a phenomenal leader. And to look on the bright side, she's still doing phenomenal things through all this adversity. I mean, look, man. She gifted the Iowa Hawkeyes. Obviously, she played for Iowa, her college, and she didn't have no injuries, and it was phenomenal. She had a phenomenal run. And she's still doing great, phenomenal things. And this is what leaders do, man. They don't got to talk about it. They just be about it, because Caitlin Clark uses a Nike deal to give rare shoes to Iowa's men's and women's basketball team, man. She is phenomenal, man. And she ain't entertaining the drama, none of that. She just being inspirational. She's being inspirational. I got to give her a round of applause. And it says, even though it's more than just a year since Caitlin Clark last suited up her now retired number 22 jersey from the Iowa's women's basketball team, she's still dishing out assists to her former Hawkeyes. The Iowa's women and men's basketball team shared photos online on July 22nd, just 2 days ago, which was about Tuesday, of this week of players receiving a Caitlin Clark edition of the Nike Kobe V Potro, which sold out in seconds after it was released to public in June for $190. And Kobe Bryant is my favorite player, man. So this is just inspirational to see the female Steph Curry, a legendary, historical, iconic, phenomenal figure as Caitlin Clark, having shoes with the combination and partnership with the Kobe brand. It's just phenomenal, man. Look at these pictures, man. You can't make this stuff up. Phenomenal, right? So inspirational. And this is the college women's basketball coach talking about it.
We have one of the best Nike reps. We have a good relationship with our Nike, our friends in the equipment room, and hook us up with Caitlin's shoes.
Caitlin's shoes, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Love him.
Shout out CC22, the GOAT, baby.
Those are nice. Thanks, Caitlin.
Yeah. I had some blue and white ones, boy.
Thanks to CC for being that great. Thanks to Nike. Awesome. We feel so blessed, baby.
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. And even through all of that, the positives, phenomenal, man. You can't wrap your head around it. This has become more than just a tough season. We know it's a crisis for Caitlin Clark, and how the Indiana Fever and the WNBA handle this will have repercussions for years. Do they have the right system and support to protect their brightest star, or will they let one of the most promising careers in sports history get derailed by injuries and internal dysfunction? The future is uncertain. Will Clark be forced to look for a new team to preserve her health and legacy? Can the Fever rebuild the trust they are seemingly lost? And the questions are piling up, and the answers will define the next chapter of Caitlin Clark's career, which I believe will be phenomenal. Everything will pan out, and maybe the future of the WNBA itself. Because I feel like the WNBA don't deserve Caitlin Clark, and I pray for Caitlin Clark, and God be with her. And if this phenomenal team that she orchestrates together, since she has to obviously go get her own medical staff and team of experts and outsource them, Indiana Fever better pay for it, number one. And number two is, when they bring her back to phenomenal health, which she will be, and come back even more phenomenal, I think she should keep this team no matter what team she go. These team of experts and these health officials. But what do you think is really happening in Indiana? Is the organization failing Caitlin Clark, or is this a brutal price of being a superstar in the league that wasn't ready for her? Let me know your theory in the comments below. Hope you guys got some value from this video. Catch you in the next one. Peace.